A white policeman involved in the fatal shooting of a black man, Rayshard Brooks, in the US city of Atlanta, has been sacked after a night of unrest over the killing. Another officer involved has been put on leave and the city's chief of police has resigned. A warning: you may find some of the images and details in Aleem Maqbool's report distressing.
America is here again, analysing the killing of a black man at the hands of the police.
Because somebody called 911 because you were asleep behind the wheel while you're in the drive-thru, right?
Rayshard Brooks had been asleep in his car beside a fast food restaurant.
I'm not causing any problems.
Well, we got to make sure that you're safe to operate a vehicle now.
Independent investigators have released this footage taken on police body cameras.
Blah, 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 blah. Stop. Very good.
It shows that after he failed a breath test, the officers tried to arrest Mr. Brooks.
Put your hands behind your back.
But during a struggle, he grabs one of their tasers. During a brief chase, he turns to point the taser at the officer, who responds by firing live ammunition. 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks died at the scene. Given his offence, the fact he hadn't had a lethal weapon, and that he was running away, not attacking, there's been condemnation.
I firmly believe that there is a clear distinction between what you can do and what you should do. I do not believe that this was a justified use of deadly force.
Protesters let their anger be known. The restaurant that staff had called the police was set on fire. And though the officer who fired the shots has been sacked, the other placed on leave, and the police chief has resigned, lawyers for the Brooks family conveyed the sheer exhaustion that many here feel at case after case like this.
I can even say we want justice, but I don't even care anymore. I don't even know what that is. And I've been doing this for 15 years. I don't know what justice is anymore. Is it getting them arrested? Is it getting somebody fired? Is it a chief stepping down? I know that this isn't justice, what's happening in society right now.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
It's the chant that's been echoing around the country in recent weeks. Those gathering at the spot where Rayshard Brooks was killed are waiting for that to lead to meaningful change. Aleem Maqbool, BBC News in Washington.
Well, Atlanta is one of many US cities to have seen protests since the killing last month of George Floyd by police in Minneapolis. And around the world, tens of thousands of people have joined marches against racism. The BBC's Clive Myrie looks now at whether this could be a watershed moment for the politics of race in America.
George Floyd's death was an American tragedy that sparked an outpouring of anger and soul-searching.
We don't want no more police.
But look at the faces.
We are done dying.
It wasn't just Black America that was appalled, but white America too. This is a seismic shift in attitudes towards police brutality and racism. It was a point addressed by one black veteran civil rights activist at George Floyd's funeral, who'd marched side by side with Dr. Martin Luther King.
Back in the days when I used to be part of marches, all the marchers were black. But now, there are white people who know the story. And there are Hispanics who know the story. And there are Asians who know the story.
It's the denial on the part of much of white America that racism is widespread and real that's helped perpetuate the discrimination they claim doesn't exist. Listen to Charlie Sykes, a former right-wing talk show host and staunch Republican conservative.
If you're a white American, you might think, okay, this happens, but it's random. It's a few bad apples here and there. But I think that what you've been seeing over the last couple of weeks is the recognition that it's not just a few bad apples. It is systemic. It's incredibly widespread. And that this, this situation, in fact, we've been in denial on it.
I'm thinking say their name.
Penny Sitz lives in one of Minneapolis's comfortable suburbs, 3 streets away from the police officer who knelt on George Floyd's neck. For the first time in her life, she's been taking part in street protests with her family.
What has surprised me in the past week has been seeing how widespread the abuse is and the brutality is. This is something I had no idea about. I knew it happened in a few big cities, but I did not think it was as widespread as it is.
George Floyd's brutal death held up a mirror to this country, and most Americans didn't like what they saw. If lasting change does come, it will be because of the sacrifice of one man who managed to bridge a once unbridgeable racial divide. Clive Myrie, BBC News.